Good evening. Welcome to the North American side of things for our final Championship Sunday. It's not really a championship. It is, of course, just the group stage, but it just sounds nice. I'm your host, Alex Machine Richardson, and I'm joined by some merry men to go ahead and guide you through the North American region and Overwatch. Got myself, Fishtix, and ZP, who will be casting our first game. The first game being Complexity versus SODIPOP, and we'll dive into the nitty-gritty a little later on. First of all, though, as we like to do every single time we do come on in, we do like to break down exactly what on earth is going on here for the Overwatch Open. Now, this is perhaps a new concept to you if you have just joined us. It's a beautiful thing. It is, of course, all about the open brackets. That's what these first 4 weeks have been about. And if you have just tuned in for the first time, I'm afraid you are a little late. This is our final week of those open brackets. You can see that those brackets are going to be quite the opposite of open as we do progress past these final days. It will be the group stage. Coming into that, you see 8 teams manage to secure themselves a spot from either region, giving those 16 teams those live finals and the E-League Arena. And man, oh man, a trip to Atlanta, $300,000. It is quite literally a dream for some of the people competing here. Envious, Cloud9, and Fnatic have already secured their spots here in the North American region. Some real headline esports organizations have managed to snap up those real fantastic Overwatch teams already. Those rosters of 6 are joined by Complexity, NRG, Team Liquid. You can see all those top spots held. Liquid admittedly by a quite tight margin. SODIPOP holding the 4th spot. And SODIPOP are actually going to be the first debut game. Going up against the top spot there, Complexity. We can go ahead and show you what is coming up today in the brackets of how they got here. Method did fall by the wayside of Complexity, and SODIPOP's route was a little, I don't want to say easier, however, Splice again struggling to make it past the quarterfinals. It does seem like they've hit a bit of a brick wall there. On the other side of the bracket, in the top right corner, you can see a spectacular series. In fact, that was a great one to cast, was the boys from Clutch going up against NRG, making NRG sweat. We'll be talking about that when I do start picking the brains of the men to my left. And following that, Selfless Liquid went the way of the no longer a dark horse. We will stop calling them dark horse now, as they once again secure a spot. We'll be seeing Liquid later on. First, though, we do start with the boys from Complexity. You can see it will be starting another best of 3, the first semi-final of the night, following that NRG and Liquid. And now, you boys can actually talk. It is, of course, a great pleasure to be introducing to you Fishtix and ZP. Complexity and SODIPOP. That's where we're going to start this discussion. I can't wait to talk about NRG Liquid. But first, I don't want to say, okay, let me think about this. So you have to structure this right. I don't want to say it's going to be less exciting. However, there is no doubt that anybody that's been watching competitive Overwatch would highly expect Complexity to be picking up the win here. I do want to start, though, by someone setting the scene. In fact, I'm looking at you, ZP, for this one. Complexity, people are sitting there thinking, what on earth's going on here? Complexity, why are we saying they're a good team? Can you tell us the story of organizational shifts as best you can?
Yeah, so just so people know the backgrounds of all this, Complexity used to be TSM, used to be Code 7. They've been around comp for quite a while. They were with TSM for a while. TSM didn't really like the image that some of their players were portraying, and they parted ways, and they ended up giving the team to Complexity. Now they are Complexity. So that's what people wonder is like, what is this Complexity team? They are not a new team. They are still a tried and true team. Now, in terms of this matchup, I feel like this is somewhat of a proving game here for Complexity. They've had a little bit of a rough time in the last 2 weeks. Not really falling off from the top, but not looking as strong as they should. So for them, they're heavily favored going against SODIPOP. And it's sort of a margin of, are they going to just stomp this game, or are they going to have a huge amount of trouble? Because if they have a huge amount of trouble, it can mean 2 things. The upside, it could just mean SODIPOP's getting better, and they are. Yeah. Or it could mean that Complexity still isn't quite where they need to be. So from the Complexity side of things, if you're a Complexity fan, you're hoping that they not only come out strong here, you're hoping that they make this short work of SODIPOP.
Now, Ben, we're no stranger to these kind of underdog stories. This is something that we've seen. I mean, even yesterday we got to see that Immortals game. We got to see, proof that there can be these underdogs thriving and kind of the greats falling. Is this something that's possible within this roster? I do see kind of a little bit of apprehension in your face.
It's going to be very, very difficult for SODIPOP. And this is not a new team to the scene. They've been around. They've placed decently in online tournaments throughout the last couple of months. We've seen them before, but they haven't been able to compete at the level that the formerly, as you said it, formerly TSM, but you actually forgot Gale Force as well.
True.
Gale Force, yeah. Code 7, TSM, now they're called Complexity. This team at one point was one of the strongest teams in the world. They have fallen a little bit from that point, but SODIPOP never has been at that level, so it's honestly going to be very, very difficult.
So let's explore that. Why is it that we consider these guys at one point one of the best teams in the world? What are the integral components that makes this well-oiled now Complexity machine?
Well, one thing that was really good for them in the last meta was that Harblue was one of the best Roadhogs in the game, arguably the best Roadhog in the game.
Yes.
And that really helped TSM go forward. They had great synergy around what they were doing with the Roadhog. In fact, there was one classic moment where they were up against C9, and Harblue basically won Watch Point Gibraltar as close to on your own as you can in Overwatch. Roadhog, of course, not nearly as powerful right now. You don't get quite what you're looking for on him in this meta. You can mix him in from time to time, but I just think meta changes haven't been super kind to this complexity roster.
Fair enough. However, we have seen Hard Blue delivering on Roadhog recently, right, Ben?
Yeah, absolutely. He's still sticking with Roadhog when he can, and of course, Roadhog, so influential. If you can get a single hook, you're going to take someone out of the action, which is incredibly important in Overwatch. Of course, when you're up 6 versus 5, the fight's usually going to go your way. So he's going to be looking for those hooks. And another thing about the current meta is we saw Nicholas as one of the best Pharahs for quite some time as well. Pharah not so much in the meta, unfortunately for him.
Let's get into it then. It's time for semi-final 1 of the Overwatch Open North American region.
Okay, we do begin on Lijiang Tower, ZP. Complexity versus SODIPOP. I think it's a real uphill battle now for SODIPOP. But if they can even put up a fight, a strong fight, maybe take this to a 3rd map against a team like Complexity, that bodes extremely well for the team.
Yep, and take a look at SODIPOP right now. They were showing on it for a second. Most likely, if they were showing, it was just a speed boost out with double speed boost. Not even sure if that's happening. Both teams going to get into it. Torque running the Genji. Agilities on the Genji for SODIPOP. Just how things work out here. Interesting, though, no Reaper coming out here, where a lot of teams do like running the Reaper on the control center.
Yeah, absolutely. You were stuck in this main room for so much of this map. You have to be in this room. You can come from the top, you can try to take the high ground, but you're ultimately going to go down here, so you want to have that Reaper up close and personal. Torque is going to take the first kill. Nomi is going to respond as the battle does begin.
Yeah, both teams 5v5 right now. But the fact that SODIPOP lost their support in the back and hype, that bodes very poorly. Losing a Zenyatta is one of the worst death omens you can have in a team fight, and as a result, Complexity is going to be able to push SODIPOP back because they still have Discord Orb, they still have Harmony Orb, and SODIPOP did not, so they just had the seeds in the ground here. They're going to wait for respawns, but Complexity coming out strong.
Yeah, kind of sad not to see Roadhog in play, but again, we've talked about it all weekend long. Right now, Winston seems to be the the tank of choice on almost every King of the Hill map, and bleeding actually into more than King of the Hill as well.
Nomi getting punished early on. Hype though firing it back. Both Winstons are dead. It is back and forth, 4v4 between both teams. Grim Reality, oftentimes you see him on McCree, now on the Tracer, trying to use his Cam Prowess in favor of SODIPOP. Complexity though again, drop the Sound Barrier, moving it right back over. Hype, about to fall, no HP left, actually gets chased down by Lucia of all things. And it's going to be Complexity holding on here, so they bent a little bit, they did not break.
Yep, so Complexity, as we expected, starting out pretty strong here on Control Center, getting the advantage and continuing to hold it. It's actually 5 versus 5 right now. But yeah, you're totally right, ZP. In a lot of these team fights, you'll see teams go for that Zenyatta first. Discord is so important. You want to get that out of the picture.
All right, here comes Jildy's Dragon Blade Unleashed. Has 1 kill, looking for more. Slicing, not able to hit what he's looking for.
Oh, no.
Not the best Dragon Blade for Jildy's. Has to put the blade away. Gets taken out by Nicholas in turn. A lost opportunity. SODIPOP with the late Sound Barrier. Hyped. Might be dropping the Graviton. We'll see. But it's a little bit disorganized to get no kills off of that Sound Barrier, and now Complexity in a good position to just turn this right back on the SODIPOP. Hardblue can pick on Hype, and it looks like that is exactly what is happening.
Yeah, I have to admit I don't have any love for the drop of that beat. At that point, when you're already down 5 versus 6, yeah, it'll allow you to survive a little bit longer, but they weren't able to make anything from it.
Mike, conversely here, look at Complexity. They drop the beat, and they immediately pick up 4 kills. Nicholas just rolling in, knowing he has that security blanket of the Sound Barrier, and it works out beautifully. Complexity showing why they are one of the top teams in the game. 5% left,
Nicholas.
And I don't even know if SODIPOP's going to be able to get this in the overtime.
Wow, Nicholas playing so ultra aggressive, maybe slightly too aggressive. Torque is going to get the kill though. Jur is down and out of the action, which means no healing from his side, no speed boost from his side. And this looks like it's going to just go the way of Complexity. Barring some kind of miracle, Agility is bringing out the sword and he actually might be able to do it. He's getting a 3rd kill. And continuing onwards, so wow.
Well, Agility's able to get the 3 kill. Grim Reality with the backup, so it was unlikely. They had to just roll onto the point, not caring about positioning. They do cause the overtime, and they keep it going, so really good stuff coming out from SODIPOP to at least turn it back in their favor for now. They're going to have to hold for the rest of the map, though. If they lose a single team fight, that is going to be it. The round will go to Complexity. So a lot good to say here for Complexity as they roll over. And Nicholas right now just looking for pulse bomb. Going to get dunked immediately by Nomi. Agility's in the back line. Both flanking DPS are dead. Agility's coming in strong in the last minute.
So who knows, maybe a little bit of nerves for SODIPOP at the beginning, but they have begun to shine. And mainly on the back of Agilities right now, who pulled off a near miracle with the sword. And we do see that happen, of course. Dragon Blade, pretty good. But that was a big surprise. I mean, it almost felt like that was done already. But SODIPOP showing signs of life here on control point.
Well, they're not only showing signs of life, but Complexity is also just losing people for no reason. Harblue was way too far out while the rest of his team was coming in. They do have the Graviton coming out. 2 people got pulled in. Jera's going to get killed as a result. That Sound Barrier is out, so they don't even care that Harblue is down. The Dragon Blade from Torque moving in, looking for a little bit more, but it's a little bit disorganized. Again, they did not have Harblue in the start of this fight. However, they're still fighting it back. They got both agilities and height, and Complexity slowly but surely is taking control at this point.
Yep, Complexity fighting back, striking back, and this should be the nail in the coffin. No ultimates, no lifelines up for SODIPOP. Agilities probably won't even be able to get into this fight in time. He's coming straight from the spawn point right now. Harblue does get 1 kill and kind of keeping things going, but not quite long enough. Complexity takes the first game here on Control Center.
All right, so that's the Control Center going to Complexity. See, of course, the back and forth win here. I will say that it was a good showing by Agilities to actually bring that back for a little bit. That's usually not a situation where a team is able to bring it back, just because when you look at what happens at a 95%, 5% to go situation, you have no choice but to get the point. That means that you have to just roll in. You can't worry about poke damage coming in. It means that by the time you actually cause overtime, the people that went out of their way to do that tend to fall down. So SODIPOP able to do that and then not die, really good stuff on their part.
Okay, one more try for SODIPOP. Let's see what they can do here. Certainly the underdogs in this fight, 100%. Complexity, as we mentioned before, there are periods where they were beating teams like Cloud9 consistently, and they came close to giving teams like Envious a run for their money. Absolutely. So this team has a repertoire. You know, they have the proven background of being a top team. SODIPOP, however, they need to make a name for themselves right here.
Well, Nicholas able to start things off with bang, takes out Hype. Hype is a little bit overextended. Grim Reality Agilities, though, striking right back. It is 4v4 right now on the point. Shake went down, though, for the side of Complexity. They're going to be without that Zenyatta support. And I mean, SODIPOP does have a little bit of a window here. They're still pushed out a little bit, however. They weren't quite as aggressive as maybe they should have been. And Agility's taken out Authority by Joe Meister. This will be first cap to Complexity.
Yeah, Agility's kind of offsides there for his team, all by himself. And yes, that does make sense for Genji to do from time to time, but you have to at least have the distraction. In that case, not so much for Agilities. He'll go down and out quite easily for Complexity.
All right, so SODIPOP looking for how they want to attack this. The Garden Stage is hard to retake just because of the bridge and how aggressive a defending team can be. Grim Reality does go in on the Zenyatta, has to immediately back out, gets decent poke, and Shake takes out Jur on the Complexity side. The support is down for SODIPOP, and that is bad. Anytime you lose Lucio early on in the fight, it is terrible, and Harblue and JKW are going to clean this up.
Jur was just hiding, or sorry, excuse me, Shake was just hiding, waiting, biding his time. Eventually does get taken down, but no harm, no foul, as SODIPOP down a whole lot more than just 1 at this point. And we'll have to take this time to regroup, think about their next push, and they probably want to wait for one of these support ultimates to be up. You know, using the sound barrier is so important. Joe Meister does have his sound barrier up and ready. In fact, all of Complexity right around the corner from having their ultimates, so it's going to be mayhem. It's going to be really difficult to push into this stacked to the teeth Complexity.
Well, JKW is going to drop the Graviton, pulls in 3 people. The Pulse Bomb, is it coming out? Does not come out, and here comes SODIPOP. Wow. They don't care about the Graviton. 2 kills coming in right out of it. 3 kills for SODIPOP. A beautiful reaction to that Graviton, and they're going to turn it right back on Complexity and get their first cap of the round.
You know, it all came down to that Winston barrier. The Winston barrier stopped any incoming damage, even though 3 people were caught in the Graviton surge.
Harbleu's going back to his home planet.
Yeah, wow. My people need me.
All right, so Complexity going to be coming back in here into the Dragon Blade Transcendence. They're probably going to open this. Here comes Torque. Dashes up. Dragon Blade at the ready. Going to be running into a sound barrier. And the rest of his team running into the Graviton. A triple kill coming out. That was a Pulse Bomb fall through. 4 kills from SODIPOP. And they're holding strong, at least for now.
Yeah, and that was really crucial there for SODIPOP because Complexity wasted several ultimates in that push. They had dropped the sound barrier. They had the sword. None of it actually ended up working out. So Complexity, they had a really nice advantage here on the Garden phase, but it's been solidly taken over by SODIPOP, and they're right around the corner now from having quite a few ultimates to their own name.
Alrighty, Complexity rolling in once more. They will pop the Transcendence immediately. The support ultimate trying to get a few extra kills as people sit in. Nicholas does take out Hype early on, so it's a 65 advantage, but you have Agilities. Dragon Blade in the back line has gotten a double kill, turning this back, a triple kill for Agilities. Harblue goes Primal Rage, but his team is dying all around him, in no small part due to the handiwork of Agilities.
Okay, Hype holding strong on the point as the monkey comes in, not able to do too much. So, SODIPOP now edging closer and closer to tying this up in terms of percentage, and that is so cool to see from them, because this team has not yet managed to break into the scene and prove that they are a top 5 North American team, whereas Complexity has been sitting there for months at a time. So this is actually potentially a big upset that SODIPOP is working on.
All right, well, Torque starting this out, takes out Noe, but Hyped, the double kill from Zarya. Hyped with an extra fall through. Torque, though, trying to keep it even on a double kill as Reaper. Agility's going back and forth. We are down to 2v2 or so on the point. Agility's a deflect kill at the very end, trying to put it in, and Hype will get the finishing blow here, and that's going to be SODIPOP hanging on, and this is bad news for Complexity. They have to get on the point, otherwise SODIPOP is going to take this round.
Okay, and here comes the Dragon Blade, and this should be the final kiss of death, potentially, here for SODIPOP. Looks like they're going to be able to collect a round, which is awesome for this team. And I gotta imagine when they're in voice chat right now, screaming and yelling, because this is a really cool upset for them to even take a round here.
Well, it's one of those things where SODIPOP has definitely been steadily improving over the last few weeks, and as we said in the beginning, even though all evidence would say you favor Complexity here, they felt a little bit off both in this patch and just in the last week or two. So there is potential weakness, even though I would expect Complexity to come back in the next 2 rounds. SODIPOP making a strong case for themselves here, especially when you look at the handiwork of Agilities. Lots of good stuff from him in this round.
Yeah, you're totally right, ZP. Momentum is incredibly important, and even though Complexity have held this high spot in the North American scene, everything can change, and has been, certainly. Lots of upsets, lots of things shifting around in all of the scenes, and Complexity, they were recently picked up by TSM and then dumped just as quickly as they were picked up, and that can't help with your confidence going into this.
Well, for Complexity, they definitely don't want to see Creation having struggles. They don't want to say, oh, they're just the NA Creation right now. But JKW starting out for the bank, takes out Nami, Shake with the fall through, so 2 kills from Complexity. Little bit of a better start from him there. Nicholas and Torque, they're going to clean up the scrap, so this will be a very clean first cap here from Complexity.
Oh yeah, beautiful stuff. Nicholas with excellent tracking, going for the headshots whenever possible. Headshots matter, folks, if you're newer to the game, but you gotta be aiming for that head. And that's exactly what we're seeing coming out of Nicholas, who's been an adept tracer for quite some time. You know, he's really been known for his hit scan. He's also been known as a great Pharah.
Alrighty, so both teams trading up poke once more. Complexity being pretty aggro. They're denying access to the courtyard. They're going to make SODIPOP work for every inch they try and get here. Neither team with much in the way of ults. Nicholas, of course, has Pulse Bomb, which Tracer builds really quickly. Will throw the bomb out. Almost gets Jer. Jer has to run to the back and will take out Jer anyways. In no small part to that Pulse Bomb. Nicholas going very deep in. Going to take out Hyped. And that's going to be another team wipe here for Complexity. Again, starting out strong.
Yeah, Complexity looking strong. Although, anything can happen, and SODIPOP proved that last round. Did look like Complexity had a stranglehold on Garden phase, but it was a flurry of ultimates. Great team play from SODIPOP that allowed them to take that, and that can happen in the blink of an eye. Here's Torque. Torque is actually really far forward right now, looking for some kind of flank, ZP.
Yeah, Torque right now being a little bit aggressive, might just want to go in the back line. Oh, he finds his target, has found Hype. No help for that, Zenyatta. That is one of the better pickoffs you will see. Just good timing from Torque. And here comes the rest of Complexity. They know they have advantage, and they are merciless as they just ram the offense right into SODIPOP.
Yeah, Torque, I like it. It's sneaky stuff. It just shows game sense, game knowledge really coming into play there. And Winston is forced to pop his ult to survive there, but I still don't know if I like that push. I almost would have rather that Nomi playing Winston right now just went and died, because look, he's just feeding ultimate right now for Complexity.
That's a panicked ult in the true sense of the word. Was not a good idea. Here comes Torque, Dragon Blade on the way, gonna run right into the Transcendence. Not gonna get much of this. The Graviton Surge from Complexity gets everyone grouped together, but the defensive ults keeping them alive. It's still an edge to SODIPOP here in this fight. Torque was going for the Zen pick, gets killed by Zen instead, and here comes SODIPOP. Momentum on their side. They should be able to take this point.
You can see the power of the Discord Orb. It was on the head of Winston there, and he just melted into oblivion. Winston down and out in a split second thanks to that Discord Orb. So strong right now in the meta.
Now, I'll note, percentage-wise, that was the last gas for SODIPOP. They needed to take it then. If Complexity wins one more fight, they will take this round, and they'll be that much closer to winning this map. Jer able to take out Shake early on, Harbly returning fire. 5v5 between both teams. Agility's being down is not good at all here for SODIPOP. They rely on his contribution. Torque showing what a Genji can do, though, taking out both Tracer and Lucio. And this is going to be Complexity taking the point and very likely taking the round.
Yeah, Nomi's going to do his best to delay. And actually, he's surviving longer than he probably should have. Complexity needs to focus him down there. He will finally go down. Is there a chance? Yes, there is. For Agilities to come in. Agilities has gotten 2 kills.
Goodness.
Hyped has gotten an additional kill as well. They've switched the team up. Now they have a D.Va in play, and they're looking to try and recapture this.
the delay from Nomi bought them just enough time to come back in. Usually when you lose a team fight as decisively as SODIPOP did, you are going to lose 10% or more at the minimum, but they were actually able to flip that. No small feat coming out from Nomi to stall that, so SODIPOP staying alive, but now at 99%, they are truly on their last life.
You know, it almost sort of felt like Complexity assumed that that was already over.
Complexity let their foot off the gas pedal.
Yeah,
There's
absolutely.
actually no other way of saying that. That should have been a one fight by them. It was a misplay, and oh, the Graviton just getting eaten by the Diva defensive matrix. JKW getting nothing off of that. And here comes the Transcendence out from Hype. SODIPOP trying to hold firm. Agilities with the Dragon Blade, not getting anything just yet. Hype will actually be the first to fall here as Complexity starting to turn this in their favor. It's now a 5v4. Shake is down though, so they've lost the Zenyatta support. Torque looking for one more. It's still winnable by SODIPOP, but they cannot lose any more people.
Okay, here comes Torque coming on over the top. Nicholas is there as well. And it looks like this time, this has to be it, right? They have a 2-man advantage, almost a 3-man advantage. And Complexity should be able to recapture the point here in just a second.
I think too many people have died here from SODIPOP. They are going to stream on to that point. They're looking for rogues. They have 3 people still alive, so there is a chance if Grim Reality just absolutely goes insane here. It's certainly stacked against them. Agilities is going to go down, and that is a bad omen indeed for SODIPOP. The Pulse Bomb comes out, does not connect. And Complexity going to push out SODIPOP and take this round, but SODIPOP definitely making it interesting, if nothing else.
Yeah, absolutely. Hype just hiding in the corner. He's like, please don't kill me. I'm just a Zenyatta. I'm not here, man. Just pretend you didn't see me, but eventually does get taken out. And that's the second round going to Complexity, but well fought by SODIPOP. You know, they fought back when it did not seem possible, so props to them for that.
Alrighty, so we'll see just what happens in the next round. SODIPOP definitely have their backs against the wall here, but coming out stronger than many people might have anticipated. That last round was certainly winnable by them if a few fights went in different ways, so Complexity cannot rest easy going into this next round.
Yeah, honestly, if I'm Complexity right now, I'm feeling a little bit nervous. I mean, they should be able to take this based on their past results, but here we go back onto the Garden phase as both teams will certainly clash in the middle. Very few times will you see teams actually go through the corridor. They'll typically go across the bridge.
Alrighty, so they're trading it out here in the very beginning. Torque going to take out Nami, but goes down in turn is Nicholas. Agility's getting into that back line once more. Both flankers still alive for SODIPOP, still looking for the opportunity. If they get 1 or 2 more picks here, that should be it for this fight. SODIPOP starting off very strong. Torque looking for a pick off, install that bit, but Grim Reality and Hype getting in once more, and SODIPOP starting to turn this in their favor. They should get first control of this point.
Yeah, looks like they have taken it. So SODIPOP starting out strong, and Agility is already with 90% towards that Dragon Blade. Torque, on the other hand, only with 60. So Dragon Blade will be out for this next fight, and we'll see if it's popped right away or if they decide to just combo it a little bit later. They don't have any other ultimates to their name just yet.
All right, Complexity rolling right in. Again, this is going to be a mostly helpless fight, except for Dragon Blade as it is coming in. Agilities with the 1 kill, looking for more. Is getting to that back line, trying to deal. Zarya does cut through that shield. Down goes JKW. Agilities with a lot of contribution here, but his team was dying all around him. This is not a one fight for SODIPOP by any means, but here come the 2 flankers rolling in against Torque. It is a 2v1, and he is going to go down.
Yeah, Grim Reality saves it for his team. That was so close to actually being captured by Complexity, but SODIPOP knew what was going on. They popped in the right moment to save that one from flipping over. Now up to 42%. It's actually getting to the point where Complexity has to make something happen. It looks like they do have the resources to do that, ZP, with 3 ultimates.
Yep, they're rolling in. I would start to see the Dragon Blade from Torque very soon here. Hype can go down immediately. They snipe out that Zenyatta, and that is always a great thing in King of the Hill. 65 down to Zen. Not good times from SODIPOP. Here comes the Dragon Blade looking to finish things out. It's a 6v4 right now for Complexity. Nomi running away, will get sliced down. And that is going to be a nearly flawless take from Complexity, getting their first percentage on the board.
Harblue saying, Lel, I'm not sure what happened. Probably someone got sent to their doom. Something like that. It almost felt like Complexity, a little bit overkill there, using a couple of ultimates when they already had a 1 or 2 man advantage. Nonetheless, they have captured the point, and that's what matters.
Definitely so. See, Nicholas right now does have Pulse Bomb math already. SODIPOP, though, a lot of ults they can run in here. They do run into a Graviton Surge. Here comes the Pulse Bomb. The Wombo combo not going to get as much as they want, but Agilities is down. That's still a huge pickoff, despite that being it, but it's going to be countered immediately. Here comes Jaren Hype. 4v4 right now between both teams. Hype might... No, he was picked off early, so there's not going to be a Transcendence. Grim Reality looking for a little bit more as both teams brawl it out. The Transcendence will come out from Shake. He's going to force SODIPOP back at least for a moment.
Grim Reality left with almost no health at all, but the Transcendence from his friendly Zenyatta brings him right back up and into the action. Agilities picks up JKW. Shake will respond against Hype, but Agilities and basically both DPS players still on the point for SODIPOP, and that's going to be enough.
Agilities might have missed the beginning of the fight because he died early, but man, did he clean it up. Got right back to the fight, brought out his sword, and got 4 kills. Agilities regulating in the end. Complexity, though, not without their percentage. They got 55% off that. They have about 2 good fights left here. This is going to be fight number 1. If they lose this, they have 1 last chance. So SODIPOP feeling good, but they need to win 2 more team fights. Grim Reality, though, stepping in, blows up Joe Meister, and that is definitely good for SODIPOP.
What? JKW actually decided to pull the trigger on the Graviton Surge. He's able to capture 2, get 2 kills as well, but I almost would have preferred to see him save that for the final fight. As this, well, actually,
it's working out.
It's working out.
The one upside for SODIPOP here is that even if they lose this, which is looking more likely that they will, they still have 99%, so it's still burned a fight away from Complexity, if nothing else. And they're still contesting this.
Now, that was a really impressive play there by Agilities. Able to somehow, someway get the dash kill on Tracer. And keep this point alive.
If they keep it in overtime for long enough, I'm pretty sure it just auto ends. That's been a thing, at least people have reported. So if they can just contest this for a long time, they might win on overtime alone. However, Complexity getting awfully close to finishing this out. Here comes Agilities, Dragon Blade on the way, trying to clean up people away from this point. And it's in overtime. If they get off for a point here, the Wick is going to burn down instantly. So Complexity must be very careful here as SODIPOP continues to contest.
Wow, Agilities has been impressing like crazy. I mean, he's played well this whole game, but especially here on this particular point on Garden, he saved the point for his team several times now. And even though Complexity has recaptured, it certainly was looking good for Agilities and his team for a second there.
So SODIPOP, now in the same position that Complexity was just in. They have about 2 fights to retake this. Complexity does have Transcendence they can use pretty early on this fight. I expect that to come out. Nicholas goes to the back line, was looking for a Pulse Bomb, didn't see anything that he wanted. Now getting onto the back, looking for Lucio. And the Transcendence will come out, and that's going to keep Complexity nice and healthy here. They get 2 kills to start this out. Nicholas not even needing to drop the Pulse Bomb. Picks up 2 kills anyways. And SODIPOP going to be down to their last life in this map. Although they've taken so long to get wiped here, this might be it anyways.
Yeah, this is starting to look better and better for Complexity, as it is only a single Winston on the point at this time and place, and overtime is going to tick down so quickly. SODIPOP has to get onto the point as soon as they possibly can. Right now, right here, are they even going to be able to do it? Hype gets on, but just barely. They're just trickling in, and that's all they can do.
Yeah, and that's actually a problem there for SODIPOP, is once they were beginning to lose that, they should have all just jumped to their death and came back in for one more final fight. The fight started off badly, and they still kept trying to win it, and inadvertently, they actually burned their last chance for one more good team fight in the process. I understand why, but on the same note, I feel like sometimes seems to be a little bit more cerebral about that.
Well played, though. SODIPOP played well, and Agilities played well. His Genji made some super clutch plays, and we're about to see one of those right here now. Let's see what it is. Oh, another Dragon Blade. Dashing back and forth, slicing and dicing. Able to get 3, and a 4th. And a 5th?
It was a nice turn. That was the cleanup from Agilities there. That was the fight where basically he died early on. He got caught in the Graviton, died, but came back in as the fight was wrapping up and got incredible value on the cleanup.
So in the end, Complexity does take the first map, but well played by SODIPOP, and I do wonder how they're going to fare on the additional maps if we have any payload in the future, or maybe an assault map coming up. Will that change things up for SODIPOP?
I would say for SODIPOP going forward that I would not really trust them too much on the payload maps. I mean, they have been improving, but Complexity, they've been together for a long time as a team in all their variety of incarnations, and I would give them an edge on payload maps in general just because teams have had a lot more practice on it. SODIPOP, perhaps not so practiced, but we're going to be taking a short break. When we get back, Map 2 will be on the way. This is the Overwatch Open. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.